Wakey, wakey, rise and shine, my fellow fire-breathing dragons and mind right maniacs. This is a Thursday episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show, and I'm fired up today. Why? Because I am sitting here at Fitness Quest 10 doing yet another episode of Q&A. And man, oh man, I'm fired. Why? Because the energy inside right now is electric, and hopefully you're going to feel it. It's going to permeate every cell of your body as you're out moving about your day, and that this makes your day a better day. You know, I've been enjoying these Q&As coming on in, and today I'm going to expand on some questions that came in recently. And these are great questions, by the way. One is like, my calling to help others. Let me ask you a question. Why do you do what you do? Why do you do what you do? What is it that you do, and why do you love it? Why are you passionate about it? Or hopefully you're passionate about it. But when Connor Darnbrough asked me about my energy and why I love to enjoy helping others and coaching others and changing and transforming lives, why? I answer that question, and then also I address the shift. Yeah, the shift, about the shift that many times we need to do in our hearts and our minds to get to where we want to go. And lastly, I'm going to talk about the most difficult exercise that you can ever do. So get ready for another great episode today of Q&A. Without further ado, let's dive in right now.
Why do you reach out to people? Like, why do you feel the need to help, let's say, others who are going through dark times or feel dark?
That's my DNA. It's my
Yeah.
DNA. That's who
You
I
just
am.
feel like a calling?
It's who I am. I mean, listen, I'm the youngest of 8 kids, so I had to survive, and you know, you inherit your DNA from your mom and your dad and your surroundings and your environment. When I got into the I'll call it the quote gym business, and then now more of the coaching business, I realized the whole reason why I got in the gym business with, again, no clients, no money, no business plan, was I just wanted to help people. I honestly didn't care if I failed. I didn't. I didn't even know how to run a business. That's why I reached out to Wayne Cott. I'm like, Wayne, I don't know how to do this. What do you do? And he's like, you keep serving people and you ask people for referrals. And as long as you're serving people, you know, when I talk about the hardest, the last year has been some of the hardest times. I don't look at my bank account very much. And I mean this, I don't really care if I'm up or I'm down. I mean, it sucks when you're down. But I don't look and stare at my bank account thinking, man, my worth is up or down. I'm like in major servant mode. So that might not be a good thing, but I've never been driven by the money aspect of like I gotta be like, you know, making X amount of dollars. Like, I didn't get into the fields that I'm in now because of the money. And I find every time I start making decisions because of money, it's the wrong thing. If I can follow my heart, all right, then we're on a much better path to success. So, yeah, it's interesting question.
One of the reasons why I like to help my friends is because I've been where they are. Like, let's say a few years ago or 5 years ago, or, you know, maybe I've struggled before with some of the things they've struggled with. And now that I feel like I am in a more comfortable, confident, maybe not comfortable, but more of a confident place, I can help them out. Do you have anything, is that similar to why you do it? Or, I mean, like, did you experience the darkness and then that's why you want to help others with light? Or is it like, you just were like basically born like with a bunch of light and like, that's just how you've always been?
Both.
Both.
Meaning this, I don't care who you are. Like, everyone has stuff that's happened in the past, whether it be families. Again, I had a mom and dad who got divorced when I was 5 years old. That, I think, quote, helps me make me a better father today. My father taught me things about the value of time with my children. My mom's got the biggest heart of anyone I know, and she's 87 years old, and she lives in Florida. I call her, and she's like, I just don't understand what's going on in this world today. There's too many bad people. I'm like, I know, Mom. We're out there trying to, you know, save the world. But like, I think everyone, when you look back, any obstacles and challenge that we've been faced with in our life, that kind of makes us who we are. And I would say that now I don't do it because of like, any like past, like, man, I love to help people. I think it's my calling to do that. And I would say this is, as a man of faith, I feel divine purpose to serve humanity. I don't care what country, I don't care how old someone is. I mean, I enjoy working with the pro athlete as much as I do a 70-year-old or a teen that needs help. Like, to me, it's like, if you're a spirit that wants to grow and wants to learn and that stuff, then I believe that my purpose is deepened. And to find that out at 19, what I would say is
Mhm.
this, Connor. I wish at 19 I didn't care what other people thought as much as I did. I was too
Mhm.
worried at 19 what everyone thought. What if I become a
Right.
PE major in college? I mean, then am I going to be, quote,
Mhm.
successful? And what's mom going to think and dad going to think? And, what if I don't have the football career that everyone expects me to have? And I'm not going to be a pro athlete. Like, I worried too much about what everyone else thought versus just
Mhm.
like being so immersed in the moment. And now in the last
Mhm.
20 years or so, it's like, listen, I'm not going to be worried as much of what people are going to think. I've got to be happy with myself. And then when you do that, you in turn are happier because you're in line with your purpose. And I find that there's a lot of people that can relate to that, because a lot of times we make decisions either on money or
Right.
we make decisions on what are other people going to think? What's it going to look like? I mean, I spent my whole entire, when I was in my 20s, I really didn't even have a career.
Mhm.
I didn't have a career. I was like, number one,
Right.
I was over in Europe playing football, and all my buddies were on Wall Street making good money. And
Right.
then and I mean, here I am making a couple $1,000s a month playing professional football in Europe, and then I get hurt at
Mhm.
25, and I spent the next 4 years in grad school and trying to heal my back pain. I didn't even start my business at 29, and I had no idea what I was doing when I was 29. So
Mhm.
I would say this, like, there's no timetable for someone to, like, either be an entrepreneur or a timetable for success.
Mhm.
On that, I think some of the most interesting people that I've met are people who are in their 40s and 50s and still trying to figure out life and still trying to discover a new dream, right? Just like
Yeah, for
you
sure.
are, as you're like, okay, what's going to be that next step for me of how I can reach that next level?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Do you think it's the shift you had was that you started realizing it wasn't so much about you like transitioned from like worrying about yourself and your appearance to others and more worrying about just taking the shift from you to other people? Is that kind of what you or like summarize a bit?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think it was a gradual maturation of just life. When I was 20, my father passed away when I was 20 years old. Man, that killed me. That absolutely rocked my world. I was in college, and he was like your father is to you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it. And next thing I know, I'm without my
Mhm.
dad, my biggest cheerleader. That hurt, man. And then
Mhm.
I did a lot of just, I guess you'd call it, self-exploration and a lot of prayer. Well, before prayer, I actually
Mhm.
I I questioned my faith. I'm like, wait, how can this happen to me? And God,
Right.
like, this is my guy, this is my mentor, this is everything. And how can you take such a good guy? And I realized, wait, why am I being selfish? Like, heaven is a place that where promise is better than here on earth. And that's, I'm asking him back for me. So over the
Mhm.
course of a few years, I actually became stronger in my faith. Not initially, but became stronger in my faith. And
Mhm.
yeah, and then when I was 25 and had my back injury, that looking back now, that became my biggest blessing. I mean,
Right.
25, my dream from the time I was 5 to 25 was to play in the NFL. And then 25,
Mhm.
that dream had to end. I had to find a new dream, a brand new dream. Interesting enough that the last 25 years of my life, I've been working with the most elite athletes in the world, not only helping them with their pain and their injuries, but getting in the best shape of their lives, but also in the mental side and the spiritual side. And, between
Mhm.
prayer and mindset and physicality and performance, like, it's like I look back, I'm like, wow, little did I know at age 25 that would become a huge blessing in my life. So sometimes we go through things in our teens or our 20s or even our 40s, and you're like, why is this happening to me? And you look back, you're like, wow, it's all part of a master plan and make you who you are today.
When you pray, do you do it out loud, like verbally,
It's a good
or do you do it in
question.
your mind?
That's a good question. Well, depends. Normally, if it's early morning, it's quiet. It's in here in my home
Mhm,
office, and again, I'll get some quiet time for a few minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, and then I'll
mhm,
actually open up. I have a devotional, and devotional typically is from Pastor Jeremiah, who lives right over by you. His church is right there, Shadow Mountain Church in El Cajon, and
mhm,
I train Pastor Jay, and I'll read a devotional and I'll get into Proverbs. I love Proverbs because Proverbs is a good place to start. The book of wisdom and the book of knowledge.
mhm.
So there's 31 chapters in Proverbs. So every day, if it's the 10th of the month, then you read Proverbs 10. If it's the 20th of the month, you read Proverbs 20. And it's the book of wisdom. So to me, I'll read that to myself. Now, if I'm with my wife or
Mhm.
we have Bible study on Tuesday nights with some other athletes and another pastor named Miles McPherson from the Rock Church, and um, and that's out loud. We pray out loud. We pray as a couple. If your girlfriend, if you go to church with your girlfriend,
Mhm.
it's very, very powerful to pray with your spouse or your partner or your girlfriend, on that. I think it's a really good thing. And, I share this with you. When I was growing up, and when you're single,
Mhm.
you do want to find someone from a faith standpoint that you can be what's called equally yoked. Equally yoked. You want to find someone that has the same desire to grow in their faith. Doesn't mean that you have the exact same beliefs and that, but it's someone that is willing to grow in their faith with you, because it's a never-ending quest. And I think that
Right.
the faith aspect is an important part to life, especially, I mean, you talk about like hardest times the last year. That is what has gotten me through the most difficult times, from my
Mhm.
father's death to my back injury to the pandemic and everything else. So again, there's no formality to it, because I think some people think like you got to be, quote, religious. To me,
Mhm.
it's not about religion. It's about relationship. It's about relationship with God. And that
Right.
relationship with God is, I was driving to Carlsbad today, and it was a 45-minute drive.
Mhm.
Turn the radio off, turn the podcast off, and just you could talk out loud. God,
Mhm.
hey, how guide me in these decisions I'm making with this. And it becomes a relationship, like your best friend was sitting in the car with you. And that relationship, like any relationship, needs to be nurtured.
Right.
Yeah, keep that up, man. That's good for you. But I do
Yeah.
do believe, like, if you find a good Bible-based church and you find a pastor that can mentor you or some friends that can mentor you, it's a big part of even making entrepreneurial decisions of what's my faith say? How do I be a good steward? How do I tithe? How do I give back? How do I make what I call impact? How do you give back to help other people? These are all aspects that can help you in your own walk as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the quiet driving. Honestly, I need to do that more because I feel like I always um hide from quiet times. I think
Mm,
like I always am listening to a podcast or listening to a book or playing music or I call someone or like I've never. It's like I'm not comfortable in the quiet
yeah.
very often. Um, and arguably, I mean, in the morning, besides the meditation time, it's like that's like 10 minutes of quiet in my day.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like pretty small amount. Um,
Most people
so
aren't.
yeah, I like that.
Most people aren't comfortable with quiet.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's always got to be busy. I mean, you and anyone can think about people in your life who can't turn it off. And I think
Hmm.
one of the most important aspects of a clear mind is being able to be silent, like turn the TV off, like that. That's when you asked me about my nighttime routine earlier. And I was like, 3, 2, 1, 3 hours
Hmm.
before I eat, and then 2 hours before work, you start shutting everything down. That last hour becomes extreme personal care. Phone goes off, TV goes off, noise goes off,
Hmm.
extreme personal care. And that's where the reading comes in, and just kind of quieting the mind, because that's when your ideas come. That's when you can really connect with your spirit. It's when you connect and say, man, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, versus busy, check my feed, and you're looking at all your social media or whatever, you're looking at on phones and everything else. And it's like your mind can never relax.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. How do you block out that personal? Because for me, I can do it in the morning because I just wake up early. But at nighttime, like I have a really hard time blocking out just alone time or
Mm.
like time for myself. And I mean, I even got my I got my girlfriend waking up at like 5 a.m. too now. So it's like
Wow.
even
She must really like you.
yeah, that's what everyone says when I say that. They're like, yeah, yeah, I
Hmm.
think so. But I struggle getting
Hmm.
time to just be alone, like just truly just be alone, because it's like how do you? Because you help a ton of people and like work on a couple different ventures and everything. And it's like how do you block out? And you have a wife and kids, so like how do you block out time for
It's
yourself?
hard, man. It's really hard. The only time I really get my time is the morning time. Nighttime, I actually know that I'm going to eat dinner with my family and I'm going to spend time. I typically get 1 to 2 hours with the kiddos.
Mm,
That I don't want to like go do my own thing and work on business proposals or a project that I'm working on or coaching. To me, that's when I connect. So between 7 and 9 p.m. Is really family time. And then depending on, that I'm starting to wind down. I'm starting to try to
mm,
wind everything down. That becomes my last hour at 9 o'clock. So my ideal is I'm in bed by 10. That's when I'm at my best. So I can get up early and then, repeat. So
mm.
my quiet time where it's, where no one else is up, it's just me, it's quiet, is that early morning time before anyone in my household gets up. My friends, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I hope that you found great wisdom, insight, and knowledge. Maybe there was something that I said or Connor said that made you think about your life, your walk, your day to day, and how you could be a better mom or a better dad, a better husband or wife, a better son or daughter, a better leader, a better trainer, coach, or whatever it is that you do. I want you to think about what can you do today to make a positive difference in someone's day. Perhaps you're going to be another walker or jogger going by you and you're going to smile and wave. Perhaps say you're going to wave at someone in your job, or you're going to give a voice of encouragement. Whatever it is today, be a lighthouse, be a difference maker today in that, because every one of us needs a little bit more light inside. And I hope that this episode was that for you today. And please don't forget, as always, if you found value in today's session, could you do me a favor? Could you please forward this on to a friend? You could copy it and then text your friend, your family, your teammates, your colleagues this episode so that they could listen in and they could become another fan of the Impact Show. Today, go out there and have a great day. As always, remember, you got to train hard. You must eat right. You got to live inspired and go create impact today.